Hi, my name is Sharwan, and behind me, well, you can't see because I have the umbrella because it's raining right now here in San Jose, but um, behind me is the iconic San Jose Civic Center right here in downtown San Jose. You can see, like, behind me, like, the choice of color used, dark brown, light brown, white, and if you can see, well, let's see, like, oh, you can't see, but the iconic use of rooftop material, which you would see in a lot of houses and buildings in Italy and Europe. But this is an interesting place because this was built in the mid 1930s um, during the Great Depression. If you don't know that, the Great Depression, as a nutshell, was a 10-year period where the U.S. and most parts of the world saw economic hardships, unemployment was on the rise, like trillions of dollars of wealth just vanished on what was known as Black Friday in 1929. It's kind of interesting. Like in that same decade, you saw a lot of economic growth, roaring 20s, jazz, and what is it? Just economic growth in general, and how in the last year all that just vanished, like that, because of poor protection in the stock market on Wall Street, the infamous Wall Street, financial district. But back to this building, as you can see, this costs roughly about $1 million. Half of it was funded through the federal program called Public Assistance Administration. That funded roughly $500,000. The other half was funded by these two founders, who I will mention later on this video. And I found this iconic not just because I live here, but also through this website that I will show you on how to find iconic buildings, landmarks, and areas that from the 1920s and 30s, and I'll also show you about how to get a tour this area, because from the best of my knowledge, this doesn't offer tours. It does a virtual tour, offers like 500 unique aspects of this building. So this would be a great tool. It could be done like in 2 days. The first day, like the lesson. The second one could be like an activity that helps students, create a timeline of how when this started to now, and comparing what's happening right now with this building to the past. And one thing I can say is it is still active. This place has been used for like protests, family fundraisings, and other things. Like there was like a protest about the Vietnam War, anti-war, no war, make love, but in general, like when you want to host an event, if you guys want to have an event here, like for school or personal stuff, etc., on an estimate, it costs roughly $500,000 to $750,000 rent out this place for like events, like sound, chairs, maybe food, security people who work here to help you out. And so in the next part, I'm going to show you some videos and photos, and after that I'm going to show you how I found out about this place and more details on its website, which is on the San Jose Theater's website. And this overall going to help students learn more about the not just about the 1920s, 30s, but also, again, try to accomplish the common core skill of chronological and spatial thinking. And so it'll be explained more in through the photos and videos towards the end. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hello, welcome back. So I'm going to now show you how to do the virtual tour for the San Jose Civic Center. As I mentioned earlier, they don't do in-person tours, they just do events, which again cost roughly $500,000, maybe $1 million just for an event, which is held up for like school events, family events, wedding events, etc. So what I did was I typed up San Jose Civic Center tour on Google. It takes me to this website, San Jose Theaters .org. You can see here for the URL, and it takes me to here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna scroll down to where you can see history and virtual tour, and I already took the liberty to pull it up, and it takes you to here. And what you're going to do is you're going to see for a virtual tour of the San Jose Civic, please click here. As a caution, it's going to take a while for it to load. It's going to show up this nice and pretty, and there you go. You'll zoom around, you know. It's like the Google 3D thing when you put up a direction, like type in the place you want to go to, look around, see what it is. Same thing here. And what you're going to do is going to click on the little person who looks like he's walking. And you can see here, it'll tell you what parts you explored. So like 2 out of 289 places there. So we have a long way to go. So now you're just entered in the front area. You see posters. Look around. And we're gonna now enter in the main floor. See, very nice. Very nice in the balcony. Could fit like, well, this place could hold up to close to 3,000 people. It's like 26, maybe 2,700 people. And now I'm going to show you how I found out that this location was built during the 1930s. So, provided by a good professor of mine, Dr. Wendy Rouse at San Jose State University. If you have her, you'll have her for classes to help prepare you to become a teacher. But anyway, she provided this website called livingnewdeal.org/map/ as you can see in the URL, and it'll take you to this interactive link. You just move around right here, and you can see all the locations of places that were built in the 1930s under the New Deal or 1920s, you know. And as you can see, when you look at this map, it's mostly centered on the East Coast, and the reason why is because these states, these areas were already like established long before the West Coast was, because you know the East Coast, like the Turkey College, you got New York, which was the center of the whole financial crisis, you know, because Wall Street is located in New York City, and a bunch of people were hit. And as you can see, a lot of cluster here. So you know, when just before I go any further, you can make an inference, or students can make an inference that of why most of these are on the East Coast compared to the West Coast, because the only clusters they have is like in the SoCal LA area right here and the Bay Area here. So from this one, I just zoomed in, I looked at a location for San Jose, just a lot of zooming in, take a second, stand by. There you go. So I clicked here, and it gives you a brief history, description of the area, and everything. See? And essentially, like I said, this costs about roughly $1 million, or excuse me, like $500,000, which was funded through the Public Works funding deal, part of the Public Works Administration, which was created essentially in the 1930s under FDR because of the Great Depression, to get out millions of people who lost their wealth and bring them back to where they were, or at least have a decent amount of money in their pockets. So essentially, this would be a great tool or lesson or activity for students to complete like their history standard 4.4, which is having students explain how California became an agricultural and industrial power, transformed the economy of the state since the 1850s, but this is like morally focused on the 1920s and 30s, which could help students as an activity discuss these effects of the Depression, Dust Bowl, or World War II, or in this case just Depression, analyze the impact of the 20th century of Californians on national artists and cultural development such as this, further Common Core skills for doing activities such as creating a timeline about this, like from when it was first brought up, the idea came out to where it is now, and creating, and also like compare and contrast between the Civic Center in the 20th century and the Civic Center now in the 21st century. And to do that first, because it's a virtual tour, this would be like a 2-day lesson plan. The first one being like a lecture showing the Civic Center and all that. This could be done by yours truly, the teacher, or it could be done by someone who works there, an expert on the area. We could do 50-50. And the second day will just be dedicated to students creating a timeline in their own creative way. They could do it individually, or actually no, excuse me, they should do this in groups because there's a lot of information, and it was a great way to build on and to help them make comparison and differences of the Civic Center from the 20th century and the 21st century, as well as making inferences when they check out that website I told you about, the New Deal, about why there are more New Deal programs on the East Coast compared to the West Coast. And having said that, this will be a great tool for students to again, not only learn about the past, but connect it to the present, to learn about how this area, or let alone the country, was able to get out of the Depression and help us understand how we got to where we are today in general. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and you take care.